Happy Meaty Mondays, everyone. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I gotta sit up taller and still not in fucking frame. I'm never in frame. I work so hard to figure it out, and then I always fuck it up as soon as I start. I'm having a wonderful day, actually. Let me change the source. Some background music because I like keeping it on. I don't like just listening to myself. Listening to myself, yeah. I also have to take out stoner gaming because I guess I quit that. Okay, that's too loud for me. I did not watch the last one, so I don't know what to keep the volume at. Typically, that's how I judge it. But I've been going through like all of my shit, all my boxes again, because I don't know. I do that like every couple months because my stuff's been in boxes for fucking years now. Let's hide that so I can tell the levels together. It has the alert level in between, so I can't tell. Had to just mix it. I also had my headphones like way up because I was listening to music earlier. When I was in Distrovel, it's gotta be so loud. Yeah, I've been going through my boxes again and sorting everything because I have this thing where I like hold on to things a lot longer than I need to for like fear that I won't be able to get another one or it'll break and I'll like need something in the meantime. Like I had 2 spare keyboards in case mine doesn't work and I was like, oh, I guess I can get rid of these now. I also toned my hair yesterday and it's like, I don't know. I didn't mean to do the roots yet, but some of the roots got done just because of the way my hair is. And, so no, I did it to tone out the orange things, and then because it started lightening some of the roots, I have different orange spots, so I'm mid-process, so don't get off my dick. I guess I shouldn't say that. I don't know what it is about wearing the fucking senpai shirt, but it brings the transphobes, and people start calling me a man, so best to not even start. Temperature today is a little better, so AC isn't like pointed directly at me, and it's on low, like over there, so maybe we'll have better audio. I don't know, I still haven't spent a lot of time on it. But last week I was kind of exhausted. I was in a trash bag. Last week I was like really exhausted, so things around me were just kind of piling up. And like this morning I woke up and I'm just like on it and getting a bunch of shit done. So it's actually really exciting for me because I hate feeling like I can't do a lot. I like to be productive with my time and energy. But yes, today we are going to be discussing Lost Season 1. That's why I brought the browser up. I closed it because I forgot. Which I am like 20 years late on, but so mad about the ending. But I also watched Gladiator and Pan's Labyrinth last night, so I am fully ready for today. And like, Gladiator was #1 on the list of like movies from the 2000s. Am I still up? Yes? Then what's the problem? 1 second. I've actually been getting to, like, a lot of the stuff that I've been putting off for, like, years, so that has been really nice. That's all my embroidery stuff, because I finally sorted through all of it. It was a mess. But the only reason things are kind of stacked around me right now is because I was, like, getting ready in a rush, and I was, like, in the middle of sorting through all of my shit while I was like, oh shit, it's, like, 3 o'clock, I gotta go. So that's why I'm a little late. Things are still messy, but I got some of the boxes done. I also threw away a lot of stuff that, like, I don't know, had too many memories and shit. I don't want that fucking shit in my house anymore. But I've been deciding, like, what to sell, what to donate, and, like, what to keep. And my Poshmark pile is fucking huge. I got some things listed, but because, like I said, I was, like, really kind of foggy last week, I didn't, the listing stuff isn't as great as I wanted it to be. Like, my, pictures all have, like, a yellow tint, which I don't know why. I mean, it could be the lighting, but, like, I had both. I had, like, yellowish and white, so it shouldn't have been. And some of them came out just fine, but some of them didn't. But yeah, now that I'm feeling, like, more safe in myself and things, I don't need to hold on to things, like, just in case anymore. So, that has been really nice. But, oh, my cards as well. I was going through, as I was watching, Pan's Labyrinth, I was going through and, sorting through my cards to see, like, what symbolism, because I have the, Tarot del Toro. So, to see, like, what kind of, symbols are from Pan's Labyrinth, and it turns out like half. Like, probably about half. I don't know. The ones that have the most symbolism are Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy 2. But watching Pan's Labyrinth last night really helped me, like, understand a lot of the symbolism better. And so Gladiator was, like, #1 on the movie list. Like somebody else's movie list. We were going through the top, like, movies of the 2000s that I didn't watch because I was a sheltered child. And, it was good. I liked Gladiator. It had a good story, and Joaquin Phoenix is really good at playing, like, a creepy little gremlin dude. He's got that. Oh, shit. Ah. But Pan's Labyrinth was one of the best films that I've seen in a very long time, and is probably one of my favorite films now. I am in love with it. The end had me absolutely crying when they all gave her the round of applause. I started sobbing. And, like, it was one of those ones that I just kind of had to sit there in silence for, like, 20 minutes afterwards. Because, like, I don't know, there's nothing, like, you can't put another sound, or, like, on, or something to listen to after something like that, man. And apparently it got, like, 22 minutes of a standing ovation at the, I forget which film festival it is, but the one it premiered at. But I was, like, separating my cards and stuff, so I have all the ones that are inspired by Pan's Labyrinth, excuse me. I did just eat lunch. I don't have cucumbers today because the Instacart person, for some reason, I ordered just, like, the regular, like, the cheap, waxy fucking cucumbers that are, like, you know, standard, probably that long. I got these, like, fucking monster ass, like, English cucumbers, and there's, like, I don't know what to do. I'm not the biggest fan of like eating English cucumbers like by themselves. I typically just have the standard ones with like some salt or lemon pepper. I just been doing salt lately because everything is making me like not feel the greatest. But yeah, when I saw those, I was very confused. I didn't know what to do. Like, what the fuck? And I don't know. It was like those cucumbers that are from the TikTok live streams, and I was like, dude, that they're wrapped in like plastic, and I'm like, why are these girls just in there holding fucking cucumbers? And now it's me. I'm the girl holding a cucumber. I'm kidding. I won't be doing that because well, one, I wouldn't do that, but two, because I took the stuff off of them already. Woo! Okay, those are my aces. But like these for the blades ones, the sword is it's similar to the sword from Pan's Labyrinth, or the blade from Pan's Labyrinth. It's not really a sword. And the kitchen knife that Mercedes uses. Gotta work on my Spanish intonation. So that was something that I noticed for these, but these are just the minor arcana cards. Probably won't be able to use them to do a pull like I did 2 weeks ago. Last week I was just too fucking tired, man. And like, they usually, like, I have about 1 week out of the month that I'm not able to like do do anything because I'm just too fucking tired. And it's to the point now that I can still work and I can still do things, but like I just had to take that off because I wasn't in the right mind to watch the movies and process them and everything, so I wasn't able to do my homework that I assigned. But I absolutely adored Pan's Labyrinth. And like, I used to be a big fan of Hellboy, which is why these cards were gifted to me. And like, I still am. Still am a fan of Hellboy. I ended up watching it last night after. I'm like peeking my mic a lot. I used to watch it, or I did watch it after Pan's Labyrinth because there wasn't a lot that I could follow up that would, I don't know, feel right enough. Plus I also had to like do dinner and things like that, so I watched Hellboy and just like went in and out of the room because I've seen it probably hundreds of times. Something about younger me just loved monster men. Like Hellboy, Nemesis. Most of my exes. No, I'm kidding. I don't like the song. It's not terrible, but I just don't know it very well. But I didn't watch Hellboy 2 yet. I think that's going to be one of the ones for next week. Because I want to look into like the symbolism and stuff. I watched it a while ago, but I didn't think it was as good. But at the same time, my brain was still in that like young state, like in that traumatized state, so I wasn't processing things correctly. So like the cheesy humor and shit like that for Hellboy was something that like I liked, and now it wasn't as much. I liked more of the, you know, the story and everything. And I wasn't able to like process the symbolism and like the meanings behind everything and like critique the art in a way that was actually beneficial. But yeah, I thought with like this The hermit. It's, I don't know if that guy, does that weird thing have a name? I assume from like all the promotion that I saw with it, like growing up and everything, they always used that guy, and he wasn't in it very much. It's just the monstrous pale man. It's one of the tests. Like the toad. One of the tests, like the toad, that Ophelia must pass into the realm of the underworld. He's a perfect character to portray the hermit. He's been blinded but sees again. Kinda. Kinda. But the way they have him dressed and everything is the symbolism of a mystic eye, which looks more into the spiritual world than to matter. The hermit symbolizes self-knowledge, introspection, and inner search. And he's in like a state of isolation, which is common for the hermit. So I thought that was going to be more of a thing than it was. But I'm kind of glad it wasn't, because he's kind of freaky. Kind of a freaky dude. But that's okay. And then inverted becomes the misanthrope who lives in a sterile solitude. He doesn't know what he's looking for, but he knows he needs to wander alone. He's often immersed in melancholy, insensitivity, and obsession. So it's good symbolism for like the hermit and whatnot, but he wasn't as like developed of a character to give things a lot of meaning. And the Wheel of Fortune is represented by the whale from the mill, which is the place that basically all of this takes place. The captain's office and all that. Dude, that man just really liked to shoot people. Obviously, but there's a couple moments that actually like really shocked me of like what he fucking did, man. That's weird. But also, the thing I noticed with the Pan's Labyrinth characters that they chose for the symbolism in the deck is that they're all like good, or I wouldn't like say righteous characters really. I don't know exactly definition wise what that would be. My socks keep sliding off my feet. So like the captain and things like that, like things that were truly evil, aren't represented in the deck. And actually, mix that back in. When your hands don't hands the way you want them to hands. Oh, I put them over here. That's why. So yeah, these are all the characters from Hellboy. And then the rest of them are just like 1 or 2 cards here and there. From Mimic, Strain, the other ones. The Devil's Backbone. Fuck that song. Mimic, I already said. Crimson Peak. Pacific Rim, I think, is the other one. I don't know if that's an exhaustive list or not. Don't hold me to it, but the magician himself is actually represented by Guillermo del Toro, which on it, there's the Mandrake from Pan's Labyrinth, and what are the other ones? The Chronos device, machine parts, an insect, and a razor blade. A recurrent element in his films and an homage to the master Luis Buñuel. I can't pronounce that correctly. I thought that was interesting because he kind of looks like the Doctor in in Pan's Labyrinth, so I thought that was what it was going to be, but it is not. So that was the only one that's not like movie representation. But like Knight of Wands is an insect. And like the little fairy things in Pan's Labyrinth, it appears to her as like the grasshopper, and then when she shows it a picture of what a fairy is, because she keeps calling it a fairy, which, girl, that's not a fairy, that's a fucking giant bug chasing you around. But then it changes to the fairy afterwards, and they go with her through the trial with the Pale Man when things start to go awry. So let me find it. No, I didn't prepare for this at all. I'm just going off my head. So Knight of Wands is air warmed by fire, the summer breeze. We could say that the activity and dynamism. Am I saying that right? Dyslexia. Of air prevails over the transformative capacity of fire. It speaks of inspirational power and the ability to help. We find here, it says, when inverted, it indicates dispersion of energies likely due in excess of aims and interests. We find here an insect and a fairy, which are one and the same in Pan's Labyrinth. Like I said, it's the insect that she calls a fairy, and then it transforms into like the fairy creature. But it speaks of inspirational power and the ability to help, because like they're the things that guide her through the different trials and the mystical land. I don't know. It's the underworld that she's like trying to get into, but she has to go through these places that are necessarily reality. So understanding the symbolism of that like really helped things. They're like kind of like guides where they don't really tell her what to do, but when she starts to do something that she's not supposed to, they like try to warn her and like no, you know. So that, speaking to the Knight of Wands, makes a lot of sense to me. The Empress is Carmen, which is Ophelia's mother, who is pregnant through the majority of the film. And this is, as the Empress, she represents what Ophelia sees her as at the end of the film, and it's kind of like the manifestation of how she felt about her the entire time, because throughout the film, both of them, actually, well, everybody, is being treated horribly by, by the captain. And, she's, like, very sick, so she's, like, weak and feeble, and she's, like, not as herself, but Ophelia is, like, talking to her baby brother, like, in the belly and telling him, like, how she is and how she views her mom. like very beautiful and things like that. So I like that. So as the Empress, she shows up as the queen of the underworld and holding the baby. It shows her with wings because of her fairy nature. She bears a scepter and crown as symbols of her power. The eagle at the bottom of her dress, kind of see it. It's a symbol of power, but in other decks, it's shown as like on her shield. But because given who she is, she doesn't have a shield, so so it's placed on her dress as a symbol of power. Then again, perhaps it is not an eagle, but the raven of wisdom. But the Empress speaks of natural leadership and warmth, and forces of germination, growth, and hope. She can be a symbol of motherhood throughout a lot of things in standard reading. Not necessarily like a typical mother or parent, but of motherhood, or being the mother of something growing or germinating, I guess, as she's seen in like Pan's Labyrinth, of being, obviously she's growing a human. That is like her whole job in the in the space. That is her role, and then attempting to be a mother to Ophelia while enduring an abusive husband, I guess at this point they are. Guess they did get married. Even though he looks down on her and treats her like absolute shit, she still speaks of growth and like hope of future ideas, which is something that the Empress also represents. Now, I thought that this lady, who's the Queen of Wands, was going to be, or was the king of the underworld's wife or whatever, but she is actually not a character in Pan's Labyrinth. She is a character that would be in either Pan's Labyrinth or what was the other one? Hellboy 2. Because she's a character that could exist in both of those worlds. So, can't really say much about her. But at the end, I didn't really recognize Carmen the mom when she was in her queenly garb attire. The Queen of Wands is transformation through loving contemplation, affectionate leadership, sensuality, and empathy. So it says, we meet here an ambiguous fairy princess who may have dwelled in the underworld realms of Pan's Labyrinth or Hellboy 2. I think of all the cards, honestly, that's the only one that's kind of like made up. She's just a made up lady. And then, of course, there's the Fool, who is the fawn from Pan's Labyrinth. He's the one that gives her the test and puts her on a new path, which is what the Fool represents in tarot. It doesn't really have a number, though it is the first card, because it doesn't have a number because most... Check my book. It's the only one that doesn't represent an action. Let's see if it's noted in here. Yeah, Magician is technically number one, is the first numbered one, but the Fool comes before it as, like, I guess, 0? But it's not represented with a number. Some readers put the Fool aside and don't include it. I can't find where it is, because I don't know exactly how to say it without fucking it up. Because each symbol... Oh, it's in bright fucking gel pen. I can't read it, that's why. So, tarot cards use numerology, which follows the alchemical transmutation of energy. So number 1 would be the magician, who is the manifester, somebody who begins something. And the numbers represent the state of life, and then the suits represent the aspect of life. So, like, 3 is always the number of expansion, and then discs. Welcome, hello. And then, like, so like a 3 of discs or pentacles represent something physical. So a 3 of pentacles would be expansion of something physical, which could mean like a new job, which means, you know, your bank account increases. Actually, my tarot deck is Del Toro, and so I'm still it's Pan's Labyrinth. That's why I was going on about that. But so the Fool not having a number represents the person going on. I don't know what that means. But every other card represents an act or state of life or state of the period of the story that you're in. And the Fool represents the person going on the journey. And he's being represented by the Faun from Pan's Labyrinth. Oh, yeah, I don't know. This is my first deck. And last night was the first time I've ever watched Pan's Labyrinth, and I'm actually understanding a lot of things better about my deck, but also, like, I think that movie is now one of my favorite films. It was really good. I would definitely put it above Gladiator, which, not last week, but the week before, we were looking at, like, the top movies of the 2000s. Yeah, he is the Hermit in my deck, but I think they just call him Pale Man. He didn't have a name. I thought he was going to be more significant in the story, but he's only in, like, the one part. Oh, look at this one. That song gets muted, so I need to change it. But so with the Faun in Pan's Labyrinth, it gives her tests and how she performs on the test, or how she does the tasks, or, you know, chooses to disobey or not do the task. Basically, I'm saying it is now, I think, because of what it's definitely one of the top in there. But the Fool representing in tarot the person going on the journey, or beginning the journey, or beginning a new journey. It's not inherently a good or bad card, because it depends on the choices that you make and whether or not you do what's seen as good and what's not good. Because, like, you know, the third thing in Pan's Labyrinth, their third test or whatever, correct answer was to disobey, I guess. Without completely, I guess, giving everything away. But yeah. But in the top ones, Gladiator was number 1. And I watched that one too. That was one of the ones we're, I guess, talking about if you want. But, I just lost my train of thought. But I would definitely put Pan's Labyrinth above Gladiator. Whoever wrote that, I disagree. But I don't know if they were doing... I don't know what metric they were listing these movies out, because I don't remember what publication it was, or if it was an opinion piece or whatever, because Pan's Labyrinth was like had like a 22-minute standing ovation at the initial film festival that it was released at, and now I can see why. I do think Gladiator still holds up. Joaquin Phoenix is a creepy little dude. It was pretty good. I guess I'm not like a history type of person, or I would say war movie type of person, but Pan's Labyrinth is also in midst of a war, because they're up against guerrilla fighters, like guerrilla style, and the captain just fucking shoots anybody and everybody. Some of those I was absolutely shocked by. It was insane. Anyways. So, the fawn in Pan's Labyrinth represents the test, kinda. The test that she can choose the path, which is, I guess, the same as the Fool and in Tarot. I do like horror, kind of. I watched a lot more horror movies when I was younger. I haven't seen a lot of the films that were on the top ones of 2000s, because I was like a sheltered child with like a very strict mom. So there's a lot that I missed, but me and my sister, once we got to like teenage years, we would go to like movie rental stores and stuff back when that existed, and we would watch a bunch of like horror movies. So I have no idea to be honest, I haven't revisited them, and the reasons that I liked things before is not like because they were actually good things. Like one of my favorite movies growing up was Resident Evil Apocalypse, because I love Nemesis. I didn't play the games until like 2019. I played them for stream. It's on my YouTube. Actually, no, I don't think those are. Amnesia is. But not as much of a horror fan. Although there was a couple that I liked. What was that? Is it we've got to... No, it's not we gotta do something. We Need to Do Something 2021 I thought was really good. But like when I was younger, I watched like all the Saw movies, and we talked about that before. I don't know if I'm going to revisit those, because I don't know how necessarily I think I did see the first Conjuring. We reviewed the Sam and Colby thing back when that happened, when they went to the Conjuring house and everything, and went into a deep dive of the Conjuring and the Conjuring house and everything, and like none of it's fucking real. So I love Blumhouse ones, but not necessarily the popular ones. Let's see. Dashcam was really good. I watched Happy Death Day at fucking the dentist. Oh, I watched Haunting in Connecticut was one of my favorites when I was younger. But I watched that one because I also watched the series A Haunting that was on TV, and they did the story first, the Haunting in Connecticut story first. But yeah, no, I didn't. I think I saw Insidious, but wasn't a huge fan. I liked the Paranormal Activity movies when I was younger, but they're probably horrible now. Cam was also good. That was the one about a cam girl that gets like her likeness stolen, I guess. She's like a live camera, and then she sees like her channel live with like her, but she's obviously not on. That one was really good. Hush was fantastic. I don't know if I saw Sinister. I thought You Should Have Left was okay. It was on the good side of okay. But yeah, that wasn't one that we visited. I was just on some on one. We were talking about Pan's Labyrinth and Lost season 1 because I was told to watch Lost and I just finished the first season. Also upset about it. But anyways, the King of Wands. King of Wands is represented by the King of the Underworld from Pan's Labyrinth, and the King of Wands represents exalted action, great power, unleashed activities, and unlimited possibilities. In Pan's Labyrinth, he was, I did see that when I was younger. Dead silence. I don't like dolls, so that one fucking... I watched it with one of my friends because she was, like, really freaked out with it, and she was like, you gotta see this. So, we did. I don't think I'll revisit that one. I'm good. But he, I guess, represents in the movie exalted action and like, even though it's the underworld, he is a good character because none of the evil characters are represented in the deck. Which, you know, for good reason. The fucking captain was insane. If the King of Wands appears inverted, it indicates excessive strength, perhaps abuse and tyranny, which I guess would be what the captain is. But he's like the end, represents like the prize for doing something, the completion of the cycle, the completion of the test, which the kings in tarot do represent like the completion of a cycle, or the epitome of like whatever that thing is, whatever that test is. I already did this song. I know because I don't know how I feel about it. And then the moon is represented by the tree and the fog, which is frog, not the fog. The tree, which is the first test. And like, I guess I'll get into it when I get more into Ophelia, but I would have quit. She went so far, and she was just covered in mud and roaches and still completed the task, which is insane. So the moon card is divided into 3 levels. The upper level, which the moon, and then the tree being the third, or the second, and the frog being the third. It's usually represented by a figure or set of figures. And the lower level usually is indicating of some pool or lake for the moon to reflect off of. Retains the essence of these elements in the 3 levels: the moon, the dogs, and the aquatic creature. I mean, in addition to the tree that grows over the burrow of the giant toad. It marks, like, ascending energy. But the deepest meaning of the moon has to do with purification and inner sublimation, actions that happen passively without external action. So, like, it's, you can see it in the film because it's the point that Ophelia kind of, she gets the book and she, like, reads the book, and, like, her taking off, like, her pretty dress and deciding to, like, crawl through the grime to get to this is, I guess it is, like, it's exerted action, but the inner process is, like, her changing her beliefs or ideas, because she technically followed a fairy there and a book that doesn't show anything in it until she decides, like, she makes the decision to, like, go down this path, like, internally. But yeah, the book doesn't show anything until she, like, starts to read it, and then it starts to, like, give the story and present the tests and everything. And then she feeds the stones to the frog that, I don't know. All of that was a lot for me. I would not have... And then, like, how do you, like... I don't know. The fact that you have to crawl your way into it means that you have to crawl just as far out of it. And once you, like, complete the task, I would be like, I don't know if I would go in that far. But perhaps that's why she is the star, not I. But the moon is, like, speaks of, like, reflection in yourself, which her world is reflecting back at her, but in a different way, I guess. Because the beginning, the opening says that she was the princess, but she ended up forgetting that she was, and basically had to be reincarnated, so she had to rediscover the land of which she's supposed to rule. Which, the last two are probably my favorite characters. The Valley of Blades is represented by Mercedes, who is probably one of the best characters in the film by a landslide. Like, yes, the mother is seen as well and good or whatever, but Mercedes is the one that actually takes care of Ophelia because her mom is so weak and sick from being pregnant. But she is also playing both sides of the war because she is married to somebody who is one of the guerrilla fighters and is finding ways to, like, get them information and everything, and isn't found out until, like, the end of the film. Isn't found out, like, what she's doing. So she was able to do both of those, and protect both Ophelia and the baby once it gets born. But she also fucks up the captain, which was awesome. It was awesome to watch. I thought she would kill him, but I guess that speaks more to her character and the fact of giving mercy where he wouldn't have. And it's... Is it mercy when you cut somebody's face open? I don't know, but she didn't kill him. And he probably deserved it. He definitely deserved it, but... Oh, Blades. Obviously, she's a Blades character because of the knife that she used to not murder him. Almost murder him. The card represents the power of invention and the growth that comes with a combination of a great scoped and a honed practical sense. Which, obviously, you can see in her character because of the way that she's able to play both sides, I guess. Like, even the Doctor did the same, but he was found out earlier. And I guess the power of invention, because the way that she had her knife before she brandished it. But her practicality was what kept her alive and what kept probably Ophelia alive as well. So her being the Valley of Blades, I was like, I really understood like what they were doing with that after the movie ended, which the ending blew my mind and I had to like sit there for a few minutes just in silence. And then of course the Star, which is my favorite card in the tarot deck, but it's represented by Ophelia and her fairies. And Ophelia is such a strong character and what is the word I'm looking for? Resilient, I guess, character. And not in like a forced resiliency kind of way. Like, she like enduring the path to the Toad, which was like crawling forever in this like deep mud with roaches all over her, and she still completes the test. She had the resiliency to do so, but she's also a strong character because my desk. I flipped the drawer thingy. She, to get her baby brother out of the situation, she poisons the captain, but she doesn't like poison him and then wait for him to go to sleep and then take the baby or whatever. She poisons him, and then when he turns around, she faces him and he says like, give me the kid, basically, and she's like, no, and just leaves. Which, you know, most people and no other character faced him like confronted him forward, faced him, and disobeyed, I guess, him, because like the Doctor disobeyed his orders, but for his own reasons, and nobody was as defiant against it as she was, which I thought was like, it's amazing that she was just a kid in all of this to me, because she's so like such a strong character. But I guess an adult probably wouldn't do the same because they wouldn't have like the unbridled tenacity, is that the word, that she does. But the Star in the tarot deck is always a positive card. It always is it's always a happy card. That's what it is. Everything takes its rightful place in the order of the universe. So her doing these things and pushing that resiliency and completing the tasks, not necessarily the way that she was directly ordered to complete them, means that she still found her rightful place at the end. So that being represented by Ophelia and like being my favorite card and everything, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. It says to find our true objective, we must accept her guidance, which obviously she's guiding herself, even though like the fairies are supposed to be the guides and basically tell her when she's doing something wrong. She does it through her own way, no matter what, and still finds herself in her rightful place as ruler of the underworld, or princess of the underworld, where she is told or spoken to um, rule with a just and kind heart, which, again, I was like sobbing at the end of this. One thing I really like about Del Toro films is that, like I said, after this I watched Hellboy, which was one of my favorites growing up. They always have like a closing statement that, like, it's like giving the point of the story without necessarily giving it, if that makes sense. I forget what the last line of Hellboy was. This is all just explaining the end of Hellboy. That's not what I wanted. It sums everything up in a sentence that is... God. Can't come up with the word. What is... like a story that teaches you something. That sounds stupid. That teaches like a lesson. Didactic stories? Is that what I'm looking at? Yes, Pan's Labyrinth is now, I think, one of my favorite films. I'm trying to, like, the end of Del Toro films, like how it says at the end that she ruled with a kind and just heart. It's like a story with a moral, I guess, and at the end he kind of states the moral. He does the same thing in Hellboy, and I'm kind of excited to go a little deeper into some of his other movies. And I was reading it in comparison to Guillermo del Toro. It's this one. It's my tear deck that I've had. The Mandrake is also Pan's Labyrinth. There was the timer also in Pan's Labyrinth, and I swore it was somewhere in the deck, and they said something about it, and I couldn't find it anywhere in the deck, so I have no idea where I was getting this timer. But this is the first time I watched it was last night, so... no worries. But it has like a valuable lesson at the end, and he states it like without stating it. It comes up like, so when I'm looking for like what it's called when like a story is like a powerful life lesson or something, and it brought up Animal Farm by George Orwell, which again has its Brazilian in the hand. I thought he would be more prominent in the story. Is it a fable? I think it might be a fable that I'm thinking of, not a didactic story. A fable is a short fictional story that aims to convey a moral lesson. And he usually sums up the moral lesson in like one sentence. And it's a short sentence that just like perfectly summarizes everything in like less than 10 words. That's what I've noticed so far with Del Toro films. I don't know, honestly, if I am a fan of Orwell, but I did read Animal Farm a few times. I had to read it for history class because I was like an AP student at one point. Not anymore. Kind of, I guess. I became more into it when I had a period I had a period of my life. So basically, after like last September, was like the end of it. But I was sick and like bedridden for a couple years before that, so I'm like just out of that. And while I was in bed, like sick, I ended up watching over 300 films in that time, and I started to notice like different tropes and like the moral lessons and things like that I didn't necessarily pick up when I was younger. And so like when I was younger, I've seen things like I've seen a bunch of like horror movies and things like that, but I wasn't able to like look at them from like an analytical point of view or anything like that because of, I also have I had undiagnosed ADHD at the time. Yeah, it was insane, and it was not a good time. But I'm back, and I ended up finding a lot of joy in that, and getting my ADHD treated. I can now absorb stories better than just like surface stuff, if that makes sense. So like instead of like the story like Pan's Labyrinth, I guess, like I would know like the plot of the film, but I wouldn't necessarily take the morals or whatever from it. I guess I'm intellectual. I don't know. I don't aim to be. It's just the way that I like to look at things. Probably because of, I don't know, who I am as a person. Or the fact of being thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Like I said, I was an AP and honors kid most of my life, so I had to do a lot of analytical stuff that I didn't necessarily want to do. But now I do it for fun. Like, I don't know, taking the lessons from everything. Best film I watched in that time? I don't know, but I did note them all. Most of the films I watched were from the years 2017 to 2022 to 2023, which is when I ended up getting out of bed. I have like notes on all of them, so I can't, like, I don't know if I would pick just one. The best movie I watched this year, though, was definitely Pan's Labyrinth, so... It depends. I watched a lot of Blumhouse films, which I talked about earlier. I like Blumhouse, but not like the popular ones. Perfect Time for Joker. I think I saw that in theaters. Yeah, I saw that in theaters. Again, Joaquin Phoenix plays a good little creepy gremlin dude. Which is also what he played in Gladiator, which is the other movie we watched this week. Or, I guess I watched this week. But that was before. It was, 2020, towards the end, was when I started to get, like really sick, and then, 2021, like April-ish, was when my rib popped out of place in my back, and I couldn't stand for more than a minute without either passing out from pain or like getting so violently nauseous from pain. So I ended up in bed, and then I got COVID 3 times. I had mono. It was everything. Even though I was like isolated during this, I somehow ended up with mono. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix, good little creepy dude. Yeah, I don't remember hating it when I walked away from it or anything like that. I don't regret seeing that in theaters. And Gladiator, I thought it was good. I wouldn't put it above Pan's Labyrinth for being an early 2000s movie. But I can definitely see why it was up there. And I guess being that it took place in, like, Rome, it's like a history movie, that it kind of speaks to the whole, no worries, um, kind of timeless thing. Like, there wasn't anything that necessarily stuck out to me as, like, not being great. The thing with both of the films that I watched was, like, there was so much blood. No, I am in Pennsylvania. I was near Philly when it happened. But Lost was the show from this week. And I started watching it because one of my mods told me to. So I started watching it. I haven't started season 2 yet, which he says 2 to 3 is the best, but at the end of season 1 pissed me off. I am not. I was born in Arizona, grew up in Joshua Tree, California, graduated high school in like Youngstown area, Ohio. I graduated college from Cleveland State, went back to Phoenix for a little bit, and like not back to Phoenix, but I went back to Arizona. Near Phoenix was where my family was located at the time. And then I moved out to Pennsylvania. So have no affiliation with Pennsylvania whatsoever besides the fact that I'm currently here. Yes, I went to university there, yeah. Actually, I went to 3 different ones. I went to Youngstown State, Kent State, and Cleveland State. So, I guess Ohio is not in my blood, but close to it. Yeah, I've had, like, a wild time. I had undiagnosed ADHD. I started as a pre-med student at Youngstown State. I was pre-nursing, then pre-med, and then I ended up I was chronically ill at the time, and I had to stop. And then I went to Kent State, and I got a, it's not an undergrad degree, but it's like an undergrad certification thing. It's like around an associate's degree in medical billing, which I decided not to do. And then when I moved to Cleveland State, I settled on linguistics and graduated very decorated with honors and all of that, with a bachelor's in linguistics and a certificate to teach English as a foreign language that is valid everywhere except U.S. public schools. Valid is in like every country except U.S. public schools. If that says anything about our education system. And part of that, when I was a pre-med student, I had a minor in dance because I have been a dancer my entire life. So part of my like studying and everything was, I did art critique and things like that. So that's, I guess, where my fundamental knowledge comes from on like how to look at the things that I do. I was fluent in Spanish when I was in high school. I did like 5 years, but I started studying Spanish in middle school. So as part of like the gifted program. So I had a base before I went into studying Spanish. No, that was in Southern California. That was in Joshua Tree. Well, Joshua Tree area. I only went to Joshua Tree Elementary for a few years. It was before they moved it. They had to move it because it was built on the San Andreas Fault and no one realized it. Which I was also in an earthquake when I was like really young. Because I lived on the San Andreas Fault. If you're gonna teach you. It's because of the way that the certifications and things work, because they teach you basically to pass tests, I guess, the standardized testing, whereas like my degree is more of a functional type of thing, to teach like what take what they do, what people do know of the language, and like build off of that kind of. For junior college. Nice. I have been studying Spanish again. Also in college at Cleveland, I studied Japanese. So I've been studying those in my spare time. And actually, I was really proud of myself for how much of Pan's Labyrinth I was able to... I had subtitles on the whole time, but how much of it I was able to understand without the subtitles. Really proud of myself of bringing back some of my fluency in Spanish. But... I still can't apply a sentence. I know, puedo ir al baño. But, yeah, one of the things that I studied was art and art critique. And another area of study under my degree was like language in the brain and cognition, and how we form memories and develop language in the brain. So what am I doing now? This. I used to be a full-time streamer, but now I do, like, way too many gigs. I am a streamer, and I also do art stuff. I'm a freelancer, and do things like build Discords, kind of. Well, I did that once. I sometimes do editing and QA and native language for English. I've done subtitling, transcribing, games testing, AI work, which is what I was doing, was centered on or is like centered on like poetry and like getting AI to understand like what poetry is and how to create it, because you have to include an understanding of phonetics, which AI doesn't really do. But yeah, I do it all. I also have a Poshmark store, I have a Ko-Fi store, or a Ko-Fi page. I just got my merch store back up. Which I didn't do the art for my one thing that's up on my merch right now. No, I don't code. I started kind of learning a couple years ago, but I don't actually do that. I assess and analyze different interactions with AI. Be like, did you do what you're supposed to? I don't have a resume. I don't keep a resume. I just do whatever. I know a lot of people, and they'll be like, hey, do you know how to do this? And yeah, sure. I don't have a resume. I don't have a LinkedIn. I don't enjoy the corporate environment. Fuck the man and all that. Yeah, kind of technically. I'm on the grid as Liv Phoenix, but yeah. As my real person, you can't. There's not a lot you can find about me. I'm an enigma. And like with the tarot cards and everything. I do tarot readings and tea readings, which are classified as, I guess, divination. See, I'm the type of person who cannot, like, doesn't matter how much money I am paid, I cannot enjoy working for somebody else or doing something that I'm not passionate about, or you know, putting all of the work in to get none of the benefits. Like, putting all my work in so the boss can buy another yacht while I can't even, like, buy food for my cat. I'm not about that, so I just... I just bail. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can find a streamer's real name, but it's not kind or moral to do that. So I don't do that. If I do accidentally find out somebody's name, I don't ever say anything about it. Yeah, there are quite a few. But yeah, one way is like PayPal. If you don't have your PayPal set up correctly and somebody sends you a tip, it'll send you their real name because PayPal requires you to have a real name, which I kind of don't have a PayPal because my legal name and information, whatever, was banned from PayPal. And it's because I was doing it under the doing it under my business name and didn't. Well, yeah, you tell them, but you don't go around being like, oh, I know this person's name. Like, I've known people to do that, and they're, like, I can't. It's disgusting behavior to me, to be honest. And there was one point, like, I had my sister on stream forever ago, and she said my real name, and there were people who went around like, I know it. It's just, it doesn't make you special, it makes you an asshole. To be like, I know it, but I would never tell in my chat. Like, fuck off. They gain, like, some kind... It's, like, some immature, like, social value from it. Thinking that it makes them special. In reality, it doesn't. It makes them an asshole who doesn't respect boundaries. Use it for research. Unless you're like me and you can't find shit. I'm not real. Right. But also, I wouldn't rob a store. I wouldn't rob anybody. I wouldn't, like, look up, even if, like, I knew the name, I wouldn't look up anything about them. I wouldn't find their pages. That's, I think, doesn't that fall under, like, blackmail? Not technically illegal. And, like, saying, I know it, but I'm not gonna tell somebody, like, it makes you special. Yeah. I'm not a fan. Well, yes, but also if you tell somebody that you know things, it can fall under blackmail. And doing the research may be legal, but the fact that the data is public a lot of the times it's not necessarily legal either, because it's like data brokers and shit like that. And you know, when big companies get hacked and all this information gets released, and then you could find it just by searching the person's name, that's not necessarily legal. So I don't think in any circumstance it's moral. And I don't think it's ever a good thing to do. Yeah, if you know information about somebody, like, I know this about you or whatever, it's like, they get you for either blackmail or harassment. This person is searching my shit. One of my core values is integrity, and that means sticking to, like, my morals and things like that. Legally, sure, but when legally is never a determination of morality. Just because something is good, like, or just because something is public domain does not mean that it is moral to seek out that information. It doesn't mean that it's okay to do any of that. And it's, I think, especially bad if if it is leaked by illegal means and then you seek it out, like, I think that's especially bad. Versus, like, something being just public because it's public. Like, if somebody has their name in conjunction with their streamer name or whatever, then it's, like, public. Do I like philosophy? Depends. Depends. A lot of people who do philosophy stuff are just dicks who want to feel better than everybody else. I enjoy it in the sense of watching as, like, humans are gonna be humans. Humans are gonna human. They're gonna do things that, for whatever reason and whatever background, will make choices. Doesn't necessarily make it, like, good or bad, but discussing it and analyzing it and whatever, I don't mind that at all. It can be interesting, and with, like, things that I've gone through, because I've gone through a lot of, like, bad stuff, and being able to, from a separate scope, analyze certain healthy behaviors versus unhealthy behaviors, and why we might choose an unhealthy behavior and think that it's the best possible decision that we could make in the time, given the experience that we have, or whatever. It helps to keep people like me from staying in that cycle. Which I talk a little bit about. I started, like, a kind of, it's not really a podcast, but it's just, like, videos that go up on my YouTube channel. So do my streams and my clips and everything. It all goes up on YouTube. My clips mostly got taken down on Twitch because of DMCA stuff, so I took them off. No, not really a YouTuber. I have, like, 170 subscribers. But I just like talking about the stuff and talking about the information in a way that it relates to me and how I've broke certain cycles and things like that. Because I feel like it could be beneficial to not necessarily sit and preach, but to be more vulnerable and say, like, this is things that I've experienced, and people can take what they want from it. I don't know what that means. I'm not trying to debate anything, I will say. Someone telling me that about being a streamer is the reason that I'm a streamer. Someone I met at a bus stop. Again, I talked about it in the episode. Yeah. Some guy I met at a bus stop asked me if I was a streamer, and I was like, no, but I kind of want to do it. And he said, you should, you do well. And so I became a streamer that day. I don't have a studio, I just have a room and a microphone. Which obviously it's a snowball, so it's not a good mic. And I'm still on a Logitech camera, so. But I just got out of some really dark shit, and I've been kind of building myself back up. So that's why I'm at the bottom again. And everything that I posted, I ended up deleting because of, like, perfectionism and self-doubt due to said experiences, so. I guess? I don't know. If I, like, to have better conversations about things, typically I do that, like, through Discord. I don't have a Discord server because I can't even handle the ones that I've made for others, so that I mod technically. So I don't have a Discord server, but I'm just at Live Phoenix on literally everything, so I do that way. So if someone wants to talk to me, they can just add me as a friend on Discord. But I don't keep a Discord server. I don't like to be reachable to most people. I like to stay in my own lane, on my own shit, doing my own stuff. But I don't know, for YouTube, I'm kind of in a spot that I don't know. Because I put all of my videos, all of my clips, everything that I do on this one channel, on my one channel, but I don't know if I want to have a different channel that's like videos, or if I want to do a different channel that's just like the podcast episodes or things like that. So I'm kind of in like a decision area for that. A lot of stuff I am, but I started committing to like my weekly schedule for stream, and this is my Media Mondays. We talk about shows and movies, or I do. I do. And then Wednesdays I do Skyrim, and Fridays I do Fallout. So it's like a mix of things, whereas like my other podcast is more like my life and things that I've gone through, and it's mostly things that I've learned and resources that I've gathered because of necessity. But I have to sort through the things. I want to be unreachable to most. But yeah, to have a conversation about it or whatever, I do look through them, but it's a lot of mine is just like a lot of people offering promotions and being like predatory. Not necessarily in like the predatory in like saying inappropriate things to me, but it's more like predatory as in like, do you want more followers? Like that kind of shit. I'm good. So that's what my DMs are full of. But I do tell people how they can reach me and add me and whatever, and then if somebody gets inappropriate, I just remove them. But I do like connecting with others who have similar interests, who aren't trying to be predatory in either way. Yeah. I'm not, it's not that I'm bored with what I'm doing, it's just that I have so many ideas I can't like pick an avenue of where to go and what to do. So, but like there's some things that I do know, because before I left the internet and ended up bedridden, I had a decent following on Instagram, and I knew how to like work those, and I've been a viewer on YouTube and for years and tried to start my own channel multiple times, but my own brain got in the way, and now that my brain is like better and I want to do these things, it's like I have too many things that I'm just like, what do I do? But I do like analyzing certain things. I haven't got to the point yet that I can read books, but I can I have read like manga books. Like my favorite one is Noragami, and I've gone through like, I think I'm on the 4th book, but I don't want to finish it because I can't buy the next one yet. So once I get to the point that I can buy the next one, then I'll finish it. But that's how because I don't want to like leave the world, if that makes sense. Which I guess is kind of why I had a difficult time with Pan's Labyrinth ending. I had to like just sit in silence for like 20 minutes to just process. But also like you can't pick something that's going to like fill the void the same. Yeah, a lot of people do. It comes with the space, but like at the same time, I don't know. I have a Snapchat too that has like, I think last I checked 12,000 followers on it, but I need to like hire an intern or something to handle the messages there, because I don't want to do it. Yeah. As a gamer, I'm not a Warhammer person, but I am a 100%er. So I have the list of things that I have 100%. It's not very long because I have just like actually started and like committed to it, and not just, you know, was striving for the achievements in the games I was playing, but to actually 100% them. So I've done both South Park games and Fairy Tail. Yeah, Snapchat, I don't really, I'm having a difficult time with that. Because, no worries, either, because it can be monetized, but as I was doing it, they like changed the rules that you don't need like 10,000 anymore. You need 1,000. So, and I don't know like what to post there, because every time I post like my stream content, it says that I'm trying to like outside promote, even if I don't put any information about Twitch whatsoever. And then if I did like videos of me, it says that it's inauthentic content. So he thinks that I'm not real. So I don't know what to do about it. But as I have a TikTok that I put my clips on, but it doesn't have very much. It got followed by a lot of bots at one point, because I was doing like kind of research about like tarot and stuff, and there are so many bots when it comes to like the tarot stuff on TikTok that like I ended up with like 700, and it's dropped down to like I think 300 or 400. So all of that was like bots. Bots just trying to tell me like, if you pay me, I will do a love reading. None of it's real. That makes sense. Yeah, so yeah, their rules, I have no idea. They have such ridiculous rules that like that, and if I post anything that promotes like other platforms. Right. And like all of the information about like what you supposed to post to Snapchat is everybody saying that they just post the stuff from their other pages. So like they just export things from TikTok and directly to Snapchat. But if I do that, I'm I'm cross promoting or or inauthentic. So I don't know. But they were one of the most lucrative at the time, so I don't know what to do with that. I don't know. I'm just confused about everything when it comes to that. And what to post, because like I said, it's difficult to think of content for each different platform. And like right now, I am just like with my Instagram, I'm just putting up stuff from when, like from my old Instagram. I got all of my images and then I re-edit them with the knowledge that I have now. Like so, well, they're not re-edited; they're edited. Yeah, I do. That's what I do with Instagram, is like I edit all of my photos for the month in one day. And like I just download the originals from Google Photos, and then I edit them and I schedule them out for the entire month. I do the same thing for my other platforms that I'm not supposed to talk about here. But if I post anything like that, even if it's not promoting, a lot of my content on there is free, so it's not like commercial. They still tag me, and I'm like, who the fuck is complaining about stuff like that on Snapchat? Everybody's like sending me their dicks, like. So I don't know if I just have. It could be possible that I have somebody who's reporting me because I have issues with past people making fake accounts to follow my stuff. And keep track of me. But yeah, everything else that I do is scheduled. And like I openly tell people that, and then they'll be like, "But you posted on Instagram, so I knew you were online." And I'm like, "Dude, I told you." I told you my posts go up the same time every single day. Do you think that I like do that? Nobody could do that. No, I don't think so. Well, maybe. I don't know. It might be banned, but I just don't. I don't do it because I don't say anything about it because YouTube. Now that they transcribe all of the audio on YouTube, if you say anything about other platforms or or if you say anything like even swear words or something, it gets picked up. And I'm not monetized on YouTube, obviously, but they still block my stuff for certain reasons. But I figured through the other links on my Twitch information about everything else that I do. You can find everything through those links, so I don't directly link anything. Like, if you go to, like, my merch store, it's on there. If you go to my Ko-Fi, it's on there. If you go to my thing, it's there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's possible either with the way that everything is gone. Everything's gone in, like, such a dark place, to be honest. But that's life, I guess. But I don't know. I don't feel like that there's a lot that you can do, because, like, even if there was a second like a second video, long format video platform that wasn't YouTube, it's because of what YouTube is, like, it wouldn't do as well. So it doesn't. And then people who push boundaries constantly with like YouTube guidelines, even when they were really lax, people would obviously push insane boundaries, and you know, the things that have been streamed live on Facebook and shit, like, it's bad. Yeah, I do gaming and chatting, typically. I like to share my favorite things. That's what this channel is. It's just me sharing things that I like. And my favorite games are Skyrim and Fallout. Currently Fallout 4. I did play New Vegas. Well, this is my second playthrough that I've done of Fallout here. I don't mind. But I play a modded version of Skyrim Anniversary. It's actually my first mage playthrough. I love Skyrim. I love Skyrim, and I love the Skyrim community. I don't know. I tried not to go too heavy with mods. So a lot of the stuff that I have is aesthetic, like skies, weather, that kind of thing. For Fallout, I have like extra weapons. I have mod lists somewhere, but they're not very long. I have enough struggles as it is to stream with the mods that I do have. Like, one time recently, well, I guess it was a couple months ago now, but my game kept crashing, and it was because I forgot to update the realistic water mod. And I was trying to get into Gallows Hall, which is like on a pond. So I try not to go too heavy. But with Fallout, there was a lot of stuff released with the show and everything, so that was exciting. And now, like, everybody's streaming Fallout. Which I was well, my first playthrough was like in 2018, and then I played Fallout New Vegas in 2019. I did a playthrough. I loved the show, but as much as I like want to sit here and say like critiquing art, I don't have a lot of harsh opinions about things. So, like, people who are really, like, I guess, uppity about certain things, I'm not necessarily. I was so excited to, like, see the world and how much they did and everything. And the thing with, like, Fallout is a lot of the stories, a lot of stuff, it's, like, hokey, like, comedy, like, ridiculousness, so it's, like, to see it in the show being the same was, like, it was right for me. But some people, I guess, I don't know. there became such a negative atmosphere, I guess. We don't have a lot of media critique knowledge, at least in the US. Our ability to look at things analytically and accept them for what they are versus what you want them to be. So instead of just being excited that the gaming industry is getting enough attention to put things like movies and shows out, it's like, oh, they didn't get this one thing right, so I'm angry little person who's gonna write a is gonna write a negative news article because that gets more clicks, like, instead of just like looking at it as a whole. Yeah, and like, if you disagree, then you're basically ridiculed for not having the same opinion as everybody else, and I'm not the kind of person who even pays attention to the other things. Like, the only thing I saw about the Fallout show is, I guess, like, right-wing people were upset, but I don't know why, I don't know what they were upset for. I just saw the headline about it, and I was just like, I just noped the fuck out of that. Because, like, I don't want people to ruin my favorite things with their negative little opinions. I can accept what things are and accept that they are impactful even if it's not for me. Yeah, negative is a lot more profitable, which is probably why, well, it's probably why I don't do super well with a lot of things, as in, like, numbers wise, because my opinion is never like a negative thing. I won't put out a video that's like, this is the worst Fallout thing that's ever happened, like. But at the same time, I think the internet is moving to a more positive space. If you don't fall too much into the brain rot, you can find a lot of positive things, and people are looking more for authenticity, which comes with, like, varying opinions that not necessarily gonna hate every single thing that I go into or they go into. Yeah, getting canceled is turning into a profitable thing. But I don't know, I don't aim to be canceled. And I'm not the kind of person, like I said, integrity is one of my, like, most important values to me, so I can't do something that's going to be noteworthy, like, in a negative way, just to get eyes on me, because that's inauthentic to me, and it doesn't stick with my values, so I'm just working out exactly what my values are, because I was a people pleaser for a long time, and I would allow things in my space that I didn't agree with and didn't make me feel comfortable or good, just to keep people happy. And then it got to the point that I didn't even want to be in my spaces because I allowed those people. So I'm aiming to not to do that this time. I also, like, with getting out of, like, all the toxic cycles and everything that I mentioned earlier, it's like, I have stronger boundaries and I can separate myself from a lot of that and what I thought was, like, my personality, which turns out is just, like, trauma stuff. Like, I was stoner forever, and now I am 24 days sober for the first time since I was, like, 17. Just a lot of time. So I'm, like, reworking exactly who I am and what I'm about. But I've always been the type of person who wants or strive to at least do everything with kindness. And that doesn't necessarily mean being walked all over, which at certain points I was. But if I am ever, like, aggressive or abrasive to somebody, it's a kindness to myself. Because there's a reason why I'm speaking that way, you know? instead of just being kind to them and have that be a value or an integral part of me. I don't want you can't be nice to somebody like that without doing harm to others. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I am 24 days sober from weed. I am 3.5 years sober from alcohol. So and that's something I'm like actually really proud of and I carry with me. And I never thought that I would be somebody. I was somebody that said I would never give up alcohol, and then I did. And I said I would never give up weed, and then I did. I have kinda here and there. I haven't celebrated weed yet because I haven't even got to 30 days, but. Which I guess I should. I don't know. My birthday's coming up too, and I haven't even like made a plan about how I'm gonna celebrate anything. I probably won't do anything but be in my room. It depends. If whether the first 30 days are hard or not. With the weed, it's because I was in a new space and like a safer environment, so I was being more productive. And one day I realized that I had gone 48 hours without even smoking because I was just doing the things that I've been wanting to do forever. So and then I did smoke to like try to sleep that night, and I started to get anxious about the things that I had done and made me like question myself, and I was like, I don't want to fucking do that anymore. I don't want to question myself anymore, so I just never picked it back up. And I like moved it out of my desk, and it's like out of reach and everything. I have it for like medical purposes. I do have like a medical marijuana thing because I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is it comes with pain and like inability to sleep, all things like that. But the biggest triggers are like when I get emotionally triggered, or if I'm experiencing something that like causes a reaction or whatever. You try to grab for the vices, and that's when it's the most difficult, which can be, you know, the 30 days, or it can be months in. And it's like when you go sober from like alcohol, and when you don't work on like the reasons that you drank, they call it a dry drunk. So like I've always been the person to like work on that stuff, so I don't want to reach. I did not go to rehab. I didn't do AA or anything like that. I have thought about it because I moved, so I was thinking that might be a way to meet people with similar values, but I haven't like gone through with it yet. I don't know. I haven't thought about that yet. But I'm like not against the idea. I just do a lot of online stuff with CPTSD groups and things like that, because that falls very in line with addiction stuff, because a lot of people, well, most addiction is due to traumas. Yeah, I don't try to glorify it because I understand why those things are necessary, but it didn't work for me because of like I wasn't chemically addicted to any of it, so I didn't have to like go through as serious of withdrawals and stuff. But the traumas are definitely not little t traumas, so doing that alone was difficult, but I still was able to do it and like get through all of that. So I've just been raw dogging life. So, I've said that too much. But I do appreciate it. I do think that if it's something that a person feels would be beneficial, I'm not, don't actually use Twitter that much. when I was bedridden, I got a little into it, but yeah, one of my podcast episodes that I put up was about how like journaling and different journaling types that got me to get through those things. So that's kind of how I get through things, is by writing. And then once I like write it all out and am able to form the narrative within myself of like what happened and why I chose the way that I did, then I can talk to other people and get some support and like validation, things like that. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. I haven't got into lucid dreaming, but my dreams are weird. I've always had insanely vivid dreams, and I've always been able to tell if I'm dreaming or not. So I'm able to interact with my dreams in a way that's not typical, I guess. So, and like, even though I was for all those years a very heavy user of marijuana, my dreams never went away, and I don't have any difference in quitting. I still have crazy lucid dreams. Like I have like there like an not inner world. No, I'm not sure. Like it's like a separate reality, I guess. Like there's a house that I constantly refer to as my house, and this will be like months apart, and it's always the same house that I'm referencing. I'll have the same friends or same people that aren't real life people. They're not people that I've ever known in my life, but they will continually appear in my dreams, and I know them as like my friend or whatever, this person. And I've written it all out before and all that. It's like a separate place. It's really weird. My brain's really weird. I do like I have not read about it. I haven't been able to read things in a while. But have always been an intuitive person, which is why I do like the tarot and the tea stuff. Shift up right outside. That's interesting. I don't know why, but it's not even remotely close to my brain thought of the movie The Fourth Kind. Or what is it? Is it The Fourth? What is that? It's an alien movie. Yeah, The Fourth Kind. It was about an alien abduction. That was one of the movies that I watched on the 300 list. Oh my god, that's so creepy. I tried communicating with the aliens on the planet, but suddenly started getting clones of their deceased loved ones in the ship. The planet is the alien. Oh, okay. Am I? That's just... So, like, I have fears, obviously, but, like, ones that we revisit on the channel often, and aliens is one of them. Deep, like, dark waters, like, if in Fallout, like, when you go under, like, shipwrecks and stuff, like, start to get, like, freaked out and sick. And then my third one is Rosie the Shark. But, like, the alien one, it's because of the movie Signs growing up, really freaked me out. And it wasn't, like, the narrative of the movie that freaked me out, it was, like, the aliens, the way that they were presented in the movie, like, freaked out my little 5th grade brain. And since then I have had this, like, deep-rooted fear of aliens. But being, like, ADHD, you often feel alien, so I've joked about being alien, so, like... having that, I don't know. Don't validate my fears. I'm kidding. I think on the planet they lost an internal dream when their loved ones were alive. Like, gone to Groundhog Day. Yeah, that's freaky. But like my dreams aren't. It's not the same day that I'm reliving, but it's the same places that I'm always going, but it's just like living a separate life there, and it's not like I said, these people weren't loved ones that have visited or anything like that. It's just they're characters that exist in this world that I sometimes visit, apparently. Who knows? Who knows with my brain? I'm a different human. Definitely human. It's not necessarily worse, but it's funny because my dad always joked growing up that I wasn't born, he found me on the side of the road. So that just validates the alien. That's my dream over and over. It's scary to me. I don't think I've ever experienced that, but like, I don't know, going back into the same place. Like, recently I had a nightmare. Like, it was really bad. It was a couple weeks ago, probably like 3 weeks ago. And it was like a Saw type horror like nightmare. And like, I got out of it and I was able to like wake myself up because I knew that it was a dream. And then I had to like try to keep myself up for a little bit so I didn't go back into the dream, because then I would just have to like start over from the beginning and escape again type of deal. I don't know. My stressed out brain does stuff sometimes. I haven't watched like horror movies or anything recently, and like I wasn't watching true crime or anything like that. I do my best to avoid it because it's like really not good for your brain. Just remember nightmare. Oh no. I don't want to be reminding people of nightmares. I had a nightmare when I was 6 years old about Captain Hook and being on his ship that I still remember. I don't know why Captain Hook freaked me out, but he did. I understand, like, why would I want to be scared? That's kind of where I am now on it. There were periods that I like really enjoyed them, but I kind of had a realization that a lot of people like with traumatized brains enjoy horror because it's a way of like experiencing the same high that like toxicity gives you because of that like panic and the adrenaline and all of that. It's a way to experience it safely, so it can be used as like a good coping mechanism. Not coping mechanisms aren't really good or bad. That's another philosophy thing, but but like that can be why certain people enjoy horror, and I think that's why I did a lot of that, was to like experience the cycle again without having to experience it. So now that I know that, like, I don't necessarily want to dive into horror as part of our media stuff. I do think next week I'll probably do Hellboy 1 and 2. I watched Hellboy 1 last night, but I'll do some like notes and stuff on it. And then Hellboy 2, because it's the other one that's this is my deck. It's the other one that's like most represented in the tarot deck that I haven't really watched. See, I liked the original. I didn't actually like know that there was a remake until last night when I was looking up, and I typed in Hellboy to look like where I could watch it, like what platform I could watch it on, and it came up with 2019, and I was like, no, they didn't. But yes, they did. Yeah, there was a remake. I'm guessing. I thought it was a remake because it's not like it doesn't say like Hellboy 3. 2019. Oh my god, the guy from Stranger Things is Hellboy. It's not Ron Perlman. I forget what he was. No, it's not Finn. It's the old dude. it was. It's not the David Harbour. What's his name? It's not the kids. Hopper. I was gonna say the sheriff, but I don't think that's correct. No, all the there's something going on with like all of the Stranger Things kids. So like I guess Sadie is the only one that's not in shit. Shit as in like either another project or legal trouble. So her character is gonna be the main story of the next part of Stranger Things, but it's like because it's the only actor that's like available. I don't know. She might have a project. I forget. I don't know. It was like a passing thing that I read, so. Take it off shovel. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It's like she's bound in a different contract, something. But that would be hilarious. It's like because Hellboy's like, you know, the big, he's like giant, you know, and then having someone like Finn who's like a skinny little like lanky human. It's Hellboy. It would be a choice, that's for sure. It says a reboot of the Hellboy film series. It's Dark Horse Comics that did it. What's the difference? It's the people number one question asked. What's the difference between Hellboy 2004 and 2019? The 2019 Hellboy reboot is truer to the storylines, dialogue, and overall structure of the comic. But the new film, in its attempt to be a gritty R-rated gore fest, overlooks the comic book's profoundly ironic humanity. Was Hellboy 2019 a success is the second question. The film received negative reviews from critics and was unfavorably compared to the Del Toro films. Yeah, negative reviews. Let's see, 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb, 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. Hellboy 2004 has 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb and 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. And then Pan's Labyrinth was 8.2 out of 10 and 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know why on that list that I was on that they put Gladiator as the #1 film from the 2000s or whatever. The first film that I watched after, yeah, Hellboy was Del Toro. That's how we got on the whole Del Toro thing. But it has the same, like I said, I don't know if other Del Toro films do it, but Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy both have like the moral or the lesson that's taught of the film or whatever as like the final sentence, like to conclude everything and like wrap everything up in like 10 words or less. No, it was Hellboy. Sorry to burst your bubble, but yeah, it was Hellboy. Yeah, I didn't know that either until I was actually given the deck as a gift, and then that's what made me want to dive more into his world, because the deck is based on like Guillermo del Toro's world. So that's why I wanted to dive more into it and learn more of the symbolism, and now I understand things a lot more. And also, like, Pan's Labyrinth is now, I think, one of my top favorite films that I would say that I've watched in like years, but like I think ever. I think ever. That was such fantastic. I'm gonna put Shape of Water on the list, but it only has one card to reference in the Del Toro, or in the tarot, so it might be down the road some. I was thinking about doing Hellboy 1 and 2 next week, and then season 2 of Lost, and usually I do like because they're 24, 25 episodes in the season, I do like 1 through 12, and then today was supposed to be the rest of them, but the only thing that I have to say about the ending of season 1 is I'm pissed! They have like multiple characters with dynamite strapped to their back, and they don't give like any inclination whatsoever that the episode is about to end, and then that's just it. Pissed. First film we ever seen, I blame Del Toro copyright violation? I think the first movie I ever saw in theaters was when I was like 12 years old, and I had to lie and say that I was 13, and I believe it was Date Movie. Which was like 2006. Yeah, it was like American Pie-esque. Making fun of things. Spoof of romantic comedies. How scary movies, or the scary movies are a spoof of the horror. Oh, interesting. That stuff would not fly today. You got bots to listen for that shit. Like, even though like the playlist that I have playing is like a no copyright one, it definitely, it definitely still gets pinged. Like Suburban Cradles is no longer no copyright, I guess. I don't think so, but I do have Spotify playlist. I make monthly playlists because dopamine regulation in my brain. I typically have songs that either I wake up and they're already playing, or I'll play them like on a loop. So I usually do those monthly, and then I have a couple other ones like my top classic rock, best of Chevelle, which is my favorite band, things like that on my Spotify. Which I'm not a super. I don't like the fact that music is on streaming platforms, but you know. Yeah, Chevelle is my favorite band. Pinata is my favorite song. Followed shortly by Straight Jacket Fashion. But I guess tonight I can start watching season 2 of Lost. That's really, I don't know. A lot of the shit that I have not been able to do is because it was shamed by others, and things that I quit that were like skills or things that I enjoyed was because other people judged me. Like, one of the reasons that I made my first YouTube channel in like 2012, and my boyfriend at the time said that it was incredibly narcissistic, which is hilarious because he is the most narcissistic person. No, I don't know when Jars came out. 2000s. $2009. Yeah, hella projection. Forget. It's listed as a single, but I forget what the album is. Maybe self-titled. It was their 5th studio album. Huh. Sci-Fi Crimes. That's the... Yeah. I know from the artwork, not the name. I put Jars in the same... Man. Like, I don't... It's on the album with Sleep Apnea, Mexican Sun, Letter from a Thief, Shameful Metaphors, but I never put it with those. I always put it with, like... What is the other one? Spotify. Oh, The Red. That's the one. I like Jars, but The Red was like their big radio album or radio song, and I always classify it with that one, but it is not. That is. It's so upsetting, and I sound like you. It makes you sound like such a pretentious asshole to be like, their radio songs are not their best songs, but like, for real. It's upsetting because they have so much better stuff, but at the same time, a lot of the stuff that's better is like heavier music, which at the time wasn't as popular on the radio. It wasn't as common. But yeah. A lot of people who say it like that are just like being, I don't know, because a lot of the times it's said in reference to like someone saying like, I don't know, they like Taylor Swift and they only like her radio songs. Then they're like, they say it as like a way to put down those people for enjoying that, and that's not what I'm trying to do at all. If their radio songs are the ones that you know and enjoy, then that's totally fine. But if you want to explore further, here's some great stuff. Isn't Pantera the one that did stuff for SpongeBob? Yeah. Yeah. That time Pantera wears SpongeBob SquarePants. Pre-hibernation week, it's when they're like doing all the when Sandy is making SpongeBob do all of the like really intense shit, like bicycling through like the death traps and all of that. Pantera was on SpongeBob, yes. Yeah, they did do that, Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. I wasn't a Dragon Ball Z fan, but I did know about the main SpongeBob. Was that part of pre-hibernation, or was that... Was that a different one? Fucking fandom. If fandom ever goes on a subscription model, this channel is done. I don't think so. I think that was a separate episode because when I put it together, it says it doesn't. It doesn't come up. SpongeBob spanking line. 7 Mile spanking machine. Oh my god. The first thing is an article. This is somebody who wants somebody tried to recreate it. Oh my god. It doesn't. What episode? Is it? That's just the episode? Hey, that wasn't my fault. That was Nickelodeon's fault. Nickelodeon has done a lot of bad shit that has fucked us all up. It's from I Had an Accident? Is the episode? So no, Pantera was not the music played during the 7 Blast Making Machine. Yeah, we talked about that. I keep wanting to say last week, but it was 2 weeks ago, Monday. We talked about the Nickelodeon stuff, and right after I said that Ariana Grande would never come out with what actually happened to her, there was a bunch of headlines saying that she did, and I watched the podcast episode. She addressed it without addressing it because Ariana Grande is the queen of saying things without saying things. She didn't necessarily talk about it. They asked her like what it was like, and she basically said the word devastating is not enough to describe what happened, or like finding out about everything that happened, and she says she's still reprocessing a lot of it. But I said that I don't think she would ever come out with like how Drake Bell did, of like what exactly was done to her, because she doesn't want to be like headlined as Dan Schneider's victim, but at the same time, people are being forced in like today's society and the way that we view things. People are being forced to, if they don't say something about it, they're like, well, why isn't she talking about it? Like, everybody's talking about it. Why isn't she telling her side? So I know at some point that she had to say something about it. So she addressed it without kind of addressing it and saying that, she's basically reprocessing it all. But I don't think she'll ever come out with all of it. But at the same time, I think the reason that Drake Bell did was because he was promoting new music, which is really fucked up. They don't say it in the documentary, but the week that it aired, he had a new music video drop on YouTube. And I was like, because he had like the whole time during his interview when he's saying like these horrible things that happened, and like sure, like it's not okay that it happened, but at the same time, you shouldn't use shit like that to come back to music, especially since like when he left for a while because he left the US for a while because he had a lot of allegations himself, and he went to like Mexico and did this whole thing as Drake Campana, which is Bell in Spanish, because apparently he had a big audience there. And then he like came back to the US and apparently did this documentary, and I don't know if it was like that. But she's also like I said, she's a queen of saying things without saying things, because like when that happened, she did end up speaking about it at some point, but she didn't say anything. And then they ended up doing the second concert, or like the charity concert there, in which she like showed her emotion that way. But she doesn't like she never directly says like what her politics are, but she said things like in passing on stage, and she ended up writing some of her part for Don't Look Up and things like that. So she says it, but without like directly coming out and making statements about things, which is such a unique thing that I find absolutely fascinating about her. And like she can make some off comment in like, I think it was one of her movie documentary things that was on Netflix. She had like one line about something that happened with Trump or whatever, and she was like happy that he was down, and that was her basically stating her politics. Like, it was insane. But I loved her and Don't Look Up and all that. But it wasn't like Diddy like left as they were looking for him. What I think it was that Drake was like getting a lot of hate and everything, so he started promoting himself over there and possibly lived there for a bit. Yeah, she's known for like elegance and grace, was like how they say it in the podcast. I forget what podcast she was on, but the other guy was like a child actor too, so you can find it on YouTube. It was a 2-part. I listened to both, even though I don't know any of the other people on it, and I enjoyed it because I love her. I think she's great and, again, fascinating. Absolutely fascinating as a person. Oh, this is the song! Fuck! That's the one that I said I can't listen to because it's Cradles by Suburban. It's no longer listed. It comes up as a copyright ping now on YouTube. So and Twitch, it gets muted. So I probably won't have any audio during that. TikTok can be an excellent resource. It can be a really good place to learn things. You just have to be careful of like what you interact with because it can get brain rotty pretty quickly. But like if you look for specific things, it can be like I said, an excellent resource. Like a lot of the things that I've gotten to help myself and get myself better have come from people on TikTok who were either experts, doctors, or just like a real fucking person who really fucking tried something. And they're like, this worked for me and this is the things that it did for me, and stuff like that. So but if you start engaging with things like how I was trying to engage with certain like tarot things, to just so I can like see how they're reading the cards and how to like learn how to do that, I started getting spammed with all of the tarot cards about like some love connection or whatever. It's insane. But it was actually on TikTok that I learned the quick way to learn how to read tarot, which is that the numbers of the tarot deck follow the alchemical transmutation of energy and numerology. So like 1 being creation and 10 being the completion of the cycle. But yeah, they go full throttle. Yeah. I went past my time today, so I think I'm going to have to wrap this up soon. I did really enjoy the conversation though. And I will look at my I'll venture into the message requests. But it's like Wikipedia was back in the day. Like how everyone was like, oh my god, Wikipedia is so bad and blah blah blah, but actually it was a great place to find like a works cited. You left I love in general, I should have left lady politics. Oh yeah, that's kind of how it is. It was nice meeting you too. I enjoyed the conversation and everything. I will be back next Monday. Like I said, we're gonna do Lost Season 2. And I'm gonna find out what happened with the Dynamite backpacks. And then Hellboy 1 and 2. And I don't know if I'll watch the remake, but I might talk about it. But I will look through the DM requests when I get an opportunity. I gotta clean up the shit I was working on before I get online, otherwise I can get sucked into certain things. But I will be back Monday with those, but also Wednesday with Skyrim. Same time on Wednesday, it's 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern, or 3 to 5:30 p.m. Eastern, whatever I feel like doing. And then Friday we have Fallout. But is my YouTube nope, it's not. My bot's not up, so my bot isn't working. So I don't have a link for that, but you can find me everywhere as @LouPhoenix. I am this person. Or alien, apparently. An alien and oracle. But I appreciate everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye.